Hi, my name's Sheehan, and today I'd like to talk about Aliens, the 1986 sci-fi stroke horror film directed by James Cameron, starring Sigourney Weaver. And I'd just like to go through this film looking at how the narrative's put together, as well as some of the themes that crop up in this film. Aliens, of course, is the sequel to the 1979 film Alien, and it's often been said that it's a film that's just as good as the first one. It's very different from the first one, but in its own way, just as good. Some even prefer it to the original Alien. And I think it's just an incredibly exciting, visually impressive and terrifying film. So I think it really is a great film from 1986. Now, the structure of the story really is in 3 acts, with an introduction and a coda. And with the introduction, Ripley, of course, who's the only survivor and the person who defeated the alien in the first film on board the Nostromo, she awakes from her deep sleep. And she's been asleep so long that her daughter is now an elderly lady and has died. And it turns out that the planet LB426, where the original alien was found, is now a colony of terraformers. And Ripley, after having a license taken away for destroying the Nostromo by the corporation, she's allowed a chance to get this back if she can go to this colony with a group of Marines to see why things have gone quiet there. Something has happened, and Ripley is fearing the worst, of course. And Act 1 is just so enjoyable. It's all about this team of Marines, and they're all like these gung-ho kind of macho figures, including the women there as well, particularly this soldier called Vasquez, who's like, tougher than most of the men. And Ripley's with this motley crew, and they're going down to this planet to see what's going on. And there's so many enjoyable lines in this act, so quotable, this banter between the Marines, just absolutely fantastic, brilliant. Hey Vasquez, have you ever been mistaken for a man? No, have you? All that kind of stuff. It's just brilliant. And Bill Paxton's great in it as well, as Hudson. Very funny. And then Hicks, of course, he's like a karma character, and he's the one who will see things through eventually. It's Ripley, though, who's really in the driving seat. She knows about the alien or the xenomorph. And also there's this android, Bishop, whom Ripley initially distrusts, of course. If you've seen the first film, you know why. And so the viewer's not quite sure about Bishop as well. That's quite important. With the Marines and Bishop and Ripley, there's Burke, who's this rather slimy kind of corporate guy who's very much interested in the financial side of things, but he's also very clever and cunning. Anyway, they all eventually get to this planet. They realise that it's completely quiet there, inhospitable, of course, and eventually they find these alien jars. And Bishop starts analysing the aliens inside, the face huggers. And they also find Newt, who's this girl. You get a glimpse of her in the introduction. Her family seems to have been taken by the aliens and she's left. She's managed to survive. And Newt's a very interesting character, actually. She seems to be the toughest of them all, this little girl. Sure enough, eventually they find this mass of life, and they realise the colonists are all being used as hosts by the aliens. They're all stuck on the ceiling in this rather terrifying scene. And we see this person who's barely alive going, "Help me." Kind of the alien bursts out. And it's there that the aliens start to attack. And there are some casualties. Many of the Marines are killed. And the commander of the Marines is completely lost at sea about all this. He doesn't know what to do. He's kind of frozen. So Ripley takes charge. She sorts everyone out. She gets in, saves the survivors in this really fancy armoured car, and she gets them out, and they have this plan to nuke the planet from the shuttle, but an alien's infiltrated this ship and has made it crash. So Ripley, Newt, the little girl, and the remaining Marines, as well as Burke, are stranded. They're marooned on this planet at the mercy of the aliens. And Act 2 really is all about the aliens attacking. The survivors find some blueprints, and they realise that they can keep the aliens at bay through these corridors by installing these automatic weapons to fire at them when they detect movement, and they weld up passageways as well to stop aliens moving around. And they realise that there's probably a queen alien somewhere laying eggs, and from these eggs come the face huggers. They come on people's faces and they pass on whatever it is into the host's body, which then becomes a fully fledged alien eventually. So they realise there must be this big queen somewhere. It's actually Hudson, who is probably the one about to lose it the most. He comes up with that idea. And then they realise that this area of the planet is on the verge of being blown to pieces because of the ship crashing. It's damaged the cooling systems on the colony, and they're unstable, and they're about to have this massive explosion. So time's against them as well. So Bishop, who is the android, he has to crawl through these tunnels and control this transmitter to radio control this shuttle down to save them. So Bishop goes off, and it seems like their plan's working. Their plan with these automatic weapons to keep the aliens at bay is working. You know, the aliens, even though the ammo's almost run out, it seems to have done their job. We realised that Burke, who, remember, is this corporate guy who's working for the company, he's very much financially motivated. In an act of supreme skullduggery, it turns out he wants the aliens back for use as weapons. And he wants the face huggers on the Marines and Ripley so that they can be hosts to bring the aliens back. And he locks Ripley and Newt in this laboratory with these freed face huggers. Heartless thing to do. But eventually Hicks realises what's going on, and he comes and saves them. And from now on, Burke knows he's on borrowed time. Then at the end of Act 2, they can sense the aliens coming with these monitors, and they don't know what's going on. You know, they can't see them anywhere. It's weird. Then they realise they're coming through the ducts above the ceiling. That's a terrifying moment. And Hicks looks up through the ceiling tile, and he sees them all there. And the aliens attack, and they kill more people. Burke runs and he locks them in. Another cowardly act. Eventually, Newt helps them escape through these passageways, but Vasquez and the commander die. The commander seems to redeem himself here, and they die and blow themselves up with the aliens so that the others can escape. In Act 3, it's all about saving Newt, escaping to the ship where Bishop's waiting to take them off the planet. Newt falls through this gap in the kind of ground, and she falls down this big chute, and Ripley and Hicks try and rescue her, but it seems she's taken away by this alien. And eventually Ripley, realising that time is almost completely out for everybody, goes to the depths to try and find Newt, and she comes across the mother alien. And it's, you know, she's laid like countless eggs which are hatching. There are these other aliens as well guarding the eggs. And this mother alien is a real kind of fearsome looking creature, this big, coming from her abdomen, laying eggs. Ripley finds Newt stuck in the kind of alien gunge, frees her, and then she just kind of fries all these eggs, all the alien eggs, destroys this egg carrying part of the mother alien, just throws grenades left, right and centre and runs. But the alien is running after, the mother alien's running after him, and in this moment filled with tension, they're trying to get up the lift, the elevator, but it's not working. and the mother alien's trying to pull them down. And eventually they get on the platform. Bishop eventually turns up after a pause. Ripley thinks he's abandoned them initially. They get in the ship, but still the mother alien tries to hang on, but they seem to get rid of her, and off they go. The planet explodes as they escape. Now the coda is a really great part of the film. It's a real surprise, like with many great horror films. There's a sting in the tail as such, quite literally in this case, because they're aboard the ship now. Hicks is injured, but he's being looked after by Bishop. They're in orbit, but then all of a sudden we realise this great moment. The tail of the mother alien goes straight through Bishop, and he's torn in half, and he's left as this kind of head and upper body kind of writhing around. The mother alien is stole aboard the ship, and it's looking for Newt, and it's Newt's kind of running away from it, and Ripley is trying to get its attention. Ripley gets in this kind of big contraption she's trained to use when she worked in these loading bays, and there's this battle between her and this big kind of forklift truck kind of suit she's wearing, and this alien, and they fall down the airlock. Ripley manages to press the button after a great struggle, and the alien is sucked out of the ship, and eventually Ripley makes it back, and she's reunited with Newt and Hicks and what remains of Bishop. And that's the end of the film. And my goodness me, isn't Aliens a terrific film, full of thrills, shocks, surprises, fantastic effects. I mean, the aliens look amazing. Great script, full of this banter, particularly between the soldiers, the Marines. A great film. There's some interesting themes as well. The strongest characters are not the kind of macho, gung-ho, Marine type characters, but they tend to be people like Ripley, who isn't a Marine, but in her own quiet but confident way, knows what she needs to do. And then Newt, of course, the greatest survivor of them all, who survived the initial alien onslaught when her family was killed and all the other colonists. She survives right to the end, so she's a hero, this kind of small girl who is really made of tough stuff. But there's a lot about these big guns and machismo in this film as well. Of course, this theme of skullduggery with Burke and corporate greed as well, and the age-old science fiction theme of colonists and that sense of adventure of going out and the struggles and the terrors they face. The terror of the unknown, I guess. So yeah, Aliens, just such a brilliant film, at least as good as the original, and certainly one of the best films of its type in the 1980s. Thanks for watching, and there's just a brief slideshow of the structure of the film and some of the themes following this. Bye.